Well, hi everybody. How y'all doing? I am AJ Willoughby. So glad to have you all with us on the product training call tonight. We have got some exciting things. I'm going to share the screen here, and so you can see what some of the things that we have got going on. As far as this evening, we have got some great testimonies, and we've got Dr. Templeman that's going to be telling us a little bit about why it is that we're seeing this. We've got products, that you all are so already familiar with it. They have to meet those requirements, those key requirements. They've got to taste good, smell good, feel good, be easy to share, have an immediate impact, be of premium quality, and be at retail competitive prices. And you've seen that already with our sticks, with the Core, the Go, the Soul, the Trim, and the Smart. And tonight, we are talking about M3Z. M3Z is our product that is in the M Labs, and it is a product that is being tested right now as far as just seeing how you all like it and the results that you all are getting from it. And we have tonight some exciting people that are going to be sharing a little bit about what's going on with that. But Dr. Templeman, before we get into our testimonies, tell us a little bit about what it is that how we found what we were looking for in the results here.
Well, we sent out an email to approximately 600 people, and we received well over 100, probably more than about 150 responses. And so that makes the sampling valid. That means that of the people that are out there who have used this, when they answered our questions, it would have been a reasonable conclusion that this was a valid sample and reflected the whole of the group, even though everyone did not respond. And so I asked a number of questions that were very basic. Go back to the other slide, if you will, for AJ for just a moment. I wanted to know how many people actually felt that they found a physical benefit, whether it was sleep or something else, from using the M3Z. And 82% of them said yes. Now that's pretty striking, because as I've said many times before, there are a whole lot of drugs on the market out there that are no more than 30% effective in the studies that have been done. So we have something here with 82% of people saying, yes, I felt something that was physical and beneficial. That means that this is an extraordinary response. Okay, next part. I was then interested in finding out whether they had seen things that I would have expected that they would see. And when we looked and asked for people specifically about quality or quantity of sleep, and remember that the randomized controlled trial that was done with volunteers on this product looked at, are you getting to sleep more quickly? Are you having fewer interruptions in your sleep during the night? Are you waking up feeling relaxed? And do you believe that the next day you can feel the effects of what you have experienced during your sleep at night? And so we saw that that was true for 82% of the people. They had these various responses. And I spoke to a lot of the people that were involved. And next week we will have some who had other experiences than the two volunteers we have tonight. We have Julie and Bill who are going to be with us. And they fall into that 82% because they both had very strong responses. And I chose them as the volunteers to speak tonight because they were the two people who mentioned to me that they had an objective way of measuring the differences that they were experiencing. Both of them have little watches that will measure. One has a Fitbit. Bill has the Fitbit, I believe. Or do you have them? Well, Bill, you can't answer yet, but one of them has a Fitbit and the other one has an iWatch. And both of these two products will measure the quantity of sleep that you receive in important categories such as deep sleep, stage 3 sleep, and rapid eye movement sleep. But I was also interested in how many people experienced other things. And so next week, we're going to be talking to people who had an improvement in mood, levels of anxiety, or stress, which was half of the people who responded. Then we saw a number of people who had an improvement in their libido or sexual performance. And interestingly, and I'm not sure we're going to have an evening about that, but interestingly, the respondents, 3/4 of them were female, who were talking about an improvement in libido, which is the sexual feelings that we have to have in order to have an experience that is pleasurable. Now, an increase in energy was experienced. And when you're thinking about a sleep product, it almost seems contradictory that there would be an increase in energy. But again, next week, we're going to be talking to people who experienced that. So go to the next one, the next slide if you can, AJ. Now, this is my slide to see if we were disappointing people. In other words, these questions were asking them, what did you expect to experience? And then previously I'd shown you the slide of what they actually expected. And remember, there were 82% of the people who said that they experienced benefit as far as sleep was concerned, and only 86% of them had been expecting that. It was right on as far as mood levels and anxiety, and the expectation met the amount of response that they had. It was slightly lower in terms of libido. 21% of them had expected to have a benefit there, and only 16% did. But it was really interesting that the expectations of people were largely met. And in the total number of responses that we received, there were only 2 that indicated that they did not receive a response and had been disappointed based on what they had expected. So all in all, pretty good report card. And so I asked the 2 individuals who mentioned to me in their comments that they had an objective way of measuring their sleep benefit. And we're going to listen to them first, and then I'll ask them a few questions that will be able to make that a little bit easier for all of us to understand. Julie, were you going to go first?
Julie's going to go first. Yeah, we've got Julie on the phone actually. And Julie, so now for those that don't know, Julie, she's a corporate accountant in Michigan. She's got her family and co-workers are all taking the products, and she's been real excited about it. And of course, she spends a lot of time keeping up with her young grandson and daughter who live next door, and he has been real excited about this product. And I think we're getting an echo still, aren't we? Do you have 2 computers on there?
I'm not experiencing an echo, but you may be with Julie.
Okay. So, Julie, we're going to go ahead and let you share. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you have been seeing, Julie, and how you've been monitoring those changes.
Okay, well, I got this new Fitbit about a couple years ago, and it monitors all those stages of sleep. And I actually thought I was doing pretty good for my age. I'm 60, and I know a lot of my friends have terrible insomnia at this age. And I was getting about an hour of deep sleep and maybe 45 minutes of REM sleep, awake a couple hours, and the rest was light sleep. But I was sleeping like 7.5 hours total, and I thought I was doing pretty good. And when the product came out, I thought, well, I'll try it, because as you know, with so many of our products, you think you feel good until you feel so much better, and then you realize you didn't feel so good. So I started using the spray the night I got it, and I didn't really see much. I didn't notice any changes on my Fitbit. I started out with 10 squirts and doing it right before bed, and I started playing with it over a couple-week period, and all of a sudden I found what worked for me, which was about 5 sprays and about half an hour before bed. And all of a sudden I started seeing a dramatic difference in the times. And now I still sleep the same. Well, I really don't sleep as long because I don't feel I need as much. Probably about 6.5 hours now, but a good 2 hours of it usually, or pretty close, is deep sleep, and another 2 hours is the REM sleep. I'm awake very little, sometimes 30 to 40 minutes total, and the rest is light sleep. I find that when I do wake up and have to use the bathroom in the night, I go right back to sleep. And I wake up feeling so much more refreshed and I'm an early morning person anyway, but I really wake up feeling like I've really gotten some good sleep, and it's just a remarkable difference for me.
So, Julie, tell us a little bit about what you noticed as far as, so we're hearing the things that you felt, the things you've noticed, but on top of that, you've actually gotten data with, is it your iWatch that you have, or Fitbit?
No, it's a Fitbit.
So tell us about the Fitbit. What has it actually been showing?
Well, it's showing every morning I get up and check, and instead of an hour of deep sleep or found that, it's usually 2 hours. And instead of just, say, 45 minutes of REM sleep, it's usually very close to 2 hours of REM sleep. And I remember dreaming, which I didn't do a lot of that before. I know I've been dreaming. And then, very, very small time awake. That is decreased eventually, the awake time that it shows. And then, of course, the light sleep has decreased as the other two sleeps have increased. And so I'm sleeping total less hours, but feeling so much better. And I don't get that afternoon feeling where I need to put my head down on my desk and nap. I feel good all day. I'm staying up later at night. It's really made a lot of difference in my life.
That is amazing. That is really incredible. So, Dr. Templeman, before we go to Bill here, what do you have any other questions here for Julie, or any thoughts on what she's sharing?
Well, she is getting more than the average and more than what doctors consider to be ideal, because we expect that we would have about 20% of our sleep, which would be REM sleep. And then in the non-REM sleep, the deep sleep, stage 3 sleep, we expect to have approximately the same thing, 1.5 to 1.8 hours. And she's getting better than that. And she was very complete in her description of the difference that it made. So I really don't have any questions for her. Just say hats off.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Julie, thank you so much for joining us on the call tonight.
Thank you, AJ.
So let's go on ahead, and we're going to join with Bill Hankey. Now, Bill has been in the company and for a while, and him and his wife, Dory, they have actually been in the industry of health and wellness for going on like 15 years, and he has had some incredible life experiences that he has had to deal with, and really going through between him and his wife has been in and out of the hospital quite a bit with some issues with a stroke and some different things. But the thing is that that, along with the fact of his job that is where he's doing IT for an airport, I guess it is, right, Bill? For the international airport for the last 14 years, and has a son that is a brain cancer survivor. He has had a lot of things, stresses, a lot of things in his life, but he has noticed some major differences that this product has happened with him. Let me make sure that you are unmuted and talk here, Bill. There you are. And Bill, so why don't you tell us a little bit about that and the changes, and then we actually can show some of the data that you have had.
Okay, good. First, AJ and Dr. Templeman, thank you for allowing me to give my testimony on the call. I really appreciate it. Yes, we've had some challenging situations in our family, but the Lord's always been good. And we got into this bit, like I said, I got into this actually in 2002 into health and nutrition. And my first company wasn't the company we just left. And I've always struggled with sleep, especially in stressful times in my life. Literally, when I was stressed out in certain times, I wouldn't sleep. I would be lucky if I got an hour and a half of sleep. When the M3Z came out, I was very excited to try it. And at first, when I tried it, just to be quite honest, it didn't work as well as I wanted it to, and I was kind of taken back from that. But then my sponsor, Kat Barnes, she says, "Well, you need to spray it under your tongue. Didn't you read the instructions?" I said, "No, I'm a guy, so I don't read instructions usually." You know. So I started spraying it under my tongue, and the difference was the difference between night and day. I sleep well at night. I'm able to get up. I'm rested. I still like, I like to work out in the mornings if I can. Sometimes I'm not as cold as you guys there in Utah, so I still will sometimes ride my bicycle to work. And I'm able to do that. And I'm 62 years old, so I think the products are really working for me. It has really helped my stress level. I can still sleep at night, and also it helps with my stress during the day. I don't feel as stressed as I would normally would with some of the things that have been going on in our lives. AJ, my wife, has not had a night at home since January the 6th. She had a stroke in January the 6th, and then she had some other bouts while she was in rehab and had to go back in the hospital. So she's been in and out of the hospital, and I've been in and out of work. So it's been a stressful time, and this has really helped us with our stress. It's helped us with our sleep. And on the iWatch, there's actually a program that you can put on your watch. I don't remember what the name of it is. It's called Sleep Pulse. And I sent you the pictures. I don't know if you have those for slides or not, but it really does show my deep sleep.
It does. Let me pull up the right ones here.
Okay.
All right. And so tell us what we're looking at here, Bill.
Okay, as you can see, it'll tell you in the upper left-hand corner. It tells you how many hours I actually slept, which was 5 hours and 26 minutes. But of that 5 hours and 26 minutes, I only had 7 minutes of restlessness. And I had 3 hours and 46 minutes of deep sleep. And then the following night, got a little bit more restlessness, but got more deep sleep. 5 hours and 35 minutes total, with 4 hours and 19 minutes as it was my deep sleep. And then you can see the difference. And I never had these kinds of results. Never really measured them before without it. But once I got this new product, I really wanted to see how it was doing and how it was performing, and it performs amazingly well. It really has helped me immensely.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let me, Dr. Tillman, I had to mute you for a minute. I'm going to unmute you again. I think you got two computers going on there, and the thing is why we were getting some of that echo. Are you there, Dr. Tillman?
Yeah, I'm here, and I would say buy an iWatch because you'll get deeper sleep. I'm just looking at the fact that both of them had improvements, but when you look at what Bill's improvements, or when you look at what Bill's totals are, I mean, that's almost double what the ideal amount of deep sleep would be. And normally, as you age, the ability to go into the deepest level of sleep declines, and also the ability to go into the REM sleep declines. And so we would expect that people of their age would be lower than the average, but they are above average in all categories. Now, it would have been fascinating to see what Bill's values would have been before that, but I'm very impressed by what we've seen, and certainly the subjective appreciation of the quality of the sleep is something that is really important, because we have had a study done, not us, but a study has been done where certain people said, I really didn't feel refreshed by my sleep at all. And others in the same group had said, no, I had a very satisfying sleep. And yet they slept exactly the same amount of time. So what you experience as restorative effect from your sleep is going to be different, because they did not have a breakdown of their sleep patterns into the non-REM and REM category, the way that these Fitbits and the iPhone, I mean, not the iPhone, but the people who go to sleep tonight with the iPhone in their pajamas, hoping that maybe they'll get a reading. That won't work. But that the iWatch gave you. But if anyone else who's listening has been watching their sleep with the assistance of these objective measures, I would really appreciate it if you would contact me at 801-369-3653, either by text or by a direct call. Now, I wanted to say a few things about the product itself, and also to talk a little bit about REM sleep and its advantages and what it allows people to do in their lives when they're awake. What are the values of REM sleep and what are the values of deep sleep? So when we talk about sleep as doctors, we talk about non-REM and REM sleep. And in the non-REM category, there are 3 levels. There used to be 4 levels, but they've consolidated the 2 and 3 together. And so now we talk about deep sleep as being stage 3, whereas in the past, very often we referred to it as stage 4 sleep. And then REM sleep, which is the rapid eye movement sleep, is the 5th stage, or in this case now, the 4th stage of sleep. And it's very different from the other stages. And that is why the categories are REM and non-REM sleep. Let's first talk about REM sleep. When you are in REM sleep, your body is completely paralyzed, except for your brain. So you have a very, very active brain in a virtually paralyzed body because your muscles aren't there. And there is an actual disease where people do not get the secretion of the hormones that are necessary to paralyze their body, and they act out their dreams. If you have ever seen a dog dreaming and watched him when he barks or makes a noise and whimpers and then his legs go, he's acting out his dreams. And we have hormonal overrides that actually stop that from happening, because if we were to act out our dreams, I don't think that we would have very good restorative effect from it. But people who get the adequate amount of REM sleep are capable of having less of a reaction to a startle the next day. They did a study where they would deprive people of REM sleep, and then others they wouldn't deprive of REM sleep. And the next day they would shock them with a little electric shock. And the people who got the electric shock, but who did not get the REM sleep, had a very exaggerated anxiety response to the shocks. Whereas those who'd gotten the sleep seemed to have a cushion, an emotional cushion, to the adverse events of the following day. They did better. Not only did they do better there, but they were better able to interpret emotion by looking at body language and facial expression. So really, there are some important things that help us in our coping with daily mechanisms that are enhanced when you get an adequate amount of REM sleep. And you can imagine what the converse of that would be, and that's depression, difficulties with memory, and problems with mood if you do not get enough REM sleep. Now, there was one expert who described the brain during REM sleep as a second gut that digests all the information from the day. And this is what he said. He said, everything that we see, every conversation we have, is chewed on and swallowed and filtered through while we dream. And then it gets either excreted or assimilated. And if it gets assimilated, it becomes memory and learning. And so the REM sleep is very essential, we believe, in being able to consolidate learning from the day. And he used an example of golfers who took lessons and then were deprived of REM sleep, and it didn't improve their game at all. Whereas golfers who took a lesson and then had adequate amounts of REM sleep were able to improve their game by learning muscle memory and making things more automatic as they incorporated skills into their game. So it's pretty interesting that we have this effect. And REM sleep is also the time when you dream. Now, for those of you who don't have a Fitbit or something to measure your REM sleep, what you can do is that if you recall your dreams clearly, it's pretty clear that you're getting adequate amounts of REM sleep. Those of you who do not recall your dreams are going to be probably not having an adequate amount of REM sleep. And one of the comments that came through on most of my interviews with people was that they were remembering their dreams and that their dreams were more vivid. In fact, my dreams became so vivid that they woke me up. And that's not surprising because the REM sleep level is the one that's closest to consciousness in every aspect except the fact that their muscles in your body are paralyzed and you can't move around. So it really is important to have the REM sleep in adequate amounts because it is associated with stronger memory and with longer attention spans. And during the next week, I'm going to look at ADD and sleep and see what the relationship is there, because I believe that the symptoms of ADD, which are very often inadequate to get a diagnosis in a medical term, are still present in so many of us that it's a reflection of our nutrition and our sleep. Now, could you throw up the slides that I sent you, AJ? This is a fact that is pretty much commonly understood by those scientists who look at sleep and its effective life. But good sleep is the best predictor of lifespan, and not only lifespan, but of the quality of life. After diet, good sleep is the most important factor in good health and longevity. And that includes many of the chronic situations like diabetes and heart disease and other chronic illnesses that carry us away prematurely, but also infections. And possibly the reason for that is about deep sleep. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. Next slide. Now, your alertness, your energy, your physical performance, your thinking, your productivity, creativity, safety, and health will be affected by how much and how well you sleep. And that is a quote from one of the best renowned sleep scientists in the world. Next one, please. How you feel about the sleep that you get is important, and it could be related to the emotional content of your dreams, because most people do not have nightmares on a regular basis. But there are some people who hardly ever dream, except that it is so vivid and so unpleasant that it leaves them feeling literally tired in the morning. But you can dream in the non-REM stages of sleep as well, because we all know that if you lay down on a couch and just take a nap, some of us will actually be dreaming. And a couple of comments about dreams. During dreaming, your visual cortex is very, very active. So your dreams are largely visual. Your auditory context is also there. So you can have sounds and conversations that are in there. Interestingly enough, the autobiographical memory of your life previously is also extremely active. But what is not active is the frontal lobe, where memories are organized and considered to be logically put together. So your dreams do not have to follow the rules of real life. And you can be at different stages and in different places and quickly move from stages and places and people and surroundings in your dreams, all with purpose as far as your brain is concerned. But when you take a look at your dreams, they cannot be figured out by you or usually by most experts, although there are people out there who make their living with dream interpretation. So I want to talk just a couple of minutes about deep sleep. What happens in the deep sleep? Well, in the deep sleep, that's when you can hardly wake someone up. When you may find them in deep sleep and you try and wake them up, you have to literally shake them. And when they wake up, they're groggy because their brain waves have gone to the lowest level that we ever see in life. They go way down. They're just not active at all. And this is the sleeping brain, in a very active body, because what's happening in the rest of your body during deep sleep is highly active. The immune system is being recharged. And if you don't get adequate amounts of deep sleep, you're going to get more infections. That's silly, I know, but it's been documented. Deep sleep is also the time when the brain itself is recharging, because it isn't working. It's kind of in idle. And in that state, many things that need to be changed and recharged, such as neurotransmitter production, etc., goes on. And for protein synthesis and the repair of muscles and connective tissue, that all goes along with it. So if you had an accident and are banged up and bumped up, or you've gone to the gym and overdone it, and you do not get deep sleep, it's going to take you longer to recover from that, because your body is highly involved in repairing these proteins that are required for proper muscle growth. And growth hormone is secreted heavily in sleep, and most heavily in the deepest level of sleep. So that's when we're actually growing. And when you think about children, most of us, even those of us who may have a few episodes of memory failure, such as the early stages of dementia or just normal aging, we can still remember extremely vividly the memories of childhood in distant memory, because look at how much kids sleep and look at how much REM sleep they get, and those memories are anchored like rock in our brains. And so even though recent events may not be easily recollected, the distant memories are solid and firm, because we were sleeping real well as kids, and those memories are held deeply, solidly, and very vividly in our brains. So that's all I really have to say about it, is that this product has been shown not only in that randomized controlled trial, which was done, but also in the usage that we've made of it, and the questions that we've asked has shown us that it lives up to its reputation, and that it is commonly experienced by people that not only is sleep improved, but a number of very important parameters are improved. And we'll talk about that next week and have a couple of people who can give us firsthand experiences about that as well, AJ.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I'll tell you, this has been something that we're seeing a lot of people's lives already being changed by what is going on with these products, and with the let's see, oh, that was last week's but what's going on with our sleep and how it's affecting us, and what we're actually achieving out of it. Let's go on ahead now, though, and we're going to talk about a couple things before we totally hang up here on the call. And let me unshare the screen here. There we are. All right. And we're going to go ahead and Dave Webb, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm going to turn my right.
Okay.
Just a minute. Dr. Templeman leading the meeting.
Fred is actually leaving the room.
There you go.
Very dramatic echo.
Well,
all right, sorry everybody. Gosh, thanks for sticking through that technical difficulty. We love these live calls, don't we? AJ, thank you for hosting. Bill, and was it Julie? I apologize for not getting everything written down in my notes, but that was a great call, great information. And I want to jump on and just share two things. Wondering if I can share my screen. AJ, if you'll throw me control in some way. It really is, it's just the simplest of data. And I want to remind people about convention coming up, and that's okay. You can hear it from my face. Oh, now I'm a co-host. So heads up and danger, everybody. Get ready for this. So we're talking about the beauty of Convention 2018. We all know it's in Las Vegas. We all know it's November 1st through 3rd. I want to keep making a pitch for this event because not only is this the inaugural convention for M, this is going to be something that will set the tone for, I think, all future events. And I think people in other industries will look at what we do and realize that this is how you do an event. Obviously, the brainchild of Ryan Anderson and the collective brain power of our leadership committee and the M3s and M4s and above who have so much great experience in this business, we are coming to teach you and to teach us and to be taught about the effects your personal development can have on not just your business, but your whole life. Family relationships, interpersonal relationships, on your job, with your neighbors, with your friends, with your social circle. The convention will cover, and we've listed out the 1st through the 3rd. The first event happens on the evening of Thursday, the 1st of November, but that will be a leadership dinner. You can register on that Thursday, you can show up, but the real, in case you're worried about when to get your hotel rooms, you want to be there on the 2nd and the 3rd, checking out on the 4th, because we have events scheduled for the whole M populace on Friday evening. That's November 2nd, Friday afternoon, I'm sorry, but you can register Friday morning. So what I'm saying is if you are not an M3 or above, you don't need to be there for the morning session on Friday, but you will want to be there for the evening session Friday, and then the 2 sessions on Saturday. The Thursday night event is for M4s and above. So if you can save a hotel night, if you can drive in the next morning, I'm not telling you how to live your life, but that's going to be the most efficient way so that you can get the most out of that event. So again, Convention 2018, tickets are just $149.95. 2 of them come with the Supreme Pack. So as you are enrolling people, let them know that there's a $300 retail value in that Supreme Pack. And we would love to see you there. We've got so many great things planned. We've been talking with a few speakers, some that Ryan knows, some that I know, some that we all know. And I wish I could, I'm not going to give it away like I've given other things away in the past, but we're going to have some great stuff for you guys for this convention. So remember that. Always keep that in mind. And now I'll leave the slide up, but I want to put a plug in for tomorrow night's call. This is the corporate training call. And we have had some great activity that I think we can agree that has come from all over. But one of the gentlemen who is doing some interesting activity, including promotion of that Supreme Pack, that's the $999.95 pack. It has a lot of products. It has some trial packs built in. It has the convention tickets built in, business centers, all the things that we need to know there. We have a presentation in the next 2 weeks, and I use it that way because we have tomorrow night's presentation, which is basically part 1. And then the follow-up will be part 2 a week from tomorrow night, which is the 24th. I better be careful about my math here because I'm not exactly sure. If today is the 16th, tomorrow is the 17th, so the next Tuesday is the 24th. But you're going to want to be here to hear Joe Melling. Joe has come to us from another few opportunities, and he is what we call en fuego with this M business, with who he's talking with his attitude, with his energy and his passion and his support. And we're all learning things from him. He's learning from us. And I say we, meaning those of us who have been in M for a little while. And we have had a lot of requests lately, especially among the leadership and the people who have been watching what Joe does. And Joe has a really interesting approach to not only how do you get started in the business, but what are the steps you take? How do you take advantage of some of the technology that we're going to be introducing? And then how do you use that to build your business? So I wish I could give a more direct plug other than to say this will be one of the most impactful 40 minutes of your week. And one happens tomorrow night, the 17th of April. And the next one happens next Tuesday night. Again, these are the corporate trainings. Great support for the product trainings on Monday night. Thank you, AJ and Jill and Dr. T and any others who are contributing there. Also, Dennis and Sue for your Saturday morning calls. Always inspiration, great business building tips and insight there. And then a few other people, some great leaders. Kat has her calls. Andy has his calls. If you have calls, get them on that back office calendar. But again, remember, tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Mountain Time live. Joe Melling will be talking about his introduction to M and how he makes it simple for the people that he is bringing in. And he is among the leaders enrolling new members each month. And this is going to be something that will have an impact on your business. You have my word. And since the call is free, I can say it's guaranteed, right? Because if you don't like it, you get your money back. And if something doesn't, you know what I mean. You're going to love this call. Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to say that is 11 p.m. Universal Time Coordinated, or Greenwich Mean Time, something in that range. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, we would love to have you here. Get ready for some fantastic training. AJ, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you for everything, everybody.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody. And Bill and Julie, Dr. Templeman, everyone, thank you for being on the call tonight. Again, don't forget the call tomorrow night and calls all throughout the week. mnetworkcalls.com. Also go in your back office. You can see places there to see what other calls are going on. We got the cat call going on Thursdays. Andy Willoughby does a call on Mondays. And then we also have Dennis Licken, who's doing an incredible presentation thing that he has been doing on Thursdays, and also the call that he's got on Saturday morning. So a lot of stuff going on. This has been an exciting time this last couple months with so many products and the things that are happening this month, and more stuff that's on the way. It's going to just blow your mind. I know it's already blown my mind what is going on and where we are headed with this company. So get on board, buckle up, and get ready, because it's a fun ride, and we're going to have a good time. You all have a great night, and we'll talk to you all next time.